What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Ilia has gone off once again on Arman, and the rivalry between the two lightweight contenders continues to grow louder. Arman remains on the outside looking in when it comes to a UFC lightweight title opportunity, and based on Ilia's latest comments, that situation is not about to change anytime soon. Ever since Arman withdrew at the last minute from his scheduled fight with Islam Makhachev earlier this year, Ilia has repeatedly criticized him across social media and in multiple interviews. That withdrawal played a major role in Arman being passed over for a title shot, and Ilia has not let him forget it. According to Ilia, pulling out of such a high-stakes fight sends the wrong message, especially in a division as competitive as lightweight. Despite that setback, Arman forced his way back into the conversation with a dominant and one-sided win over Dan Hooker in November. The performance reminded fans and the UFC that Arman is still very much a factor in the title picture. However, when Ilia recently spoke with Eldober on MMA, he was asked about Arman once again, and he did not hold back at all. Ilia acknowledged that Arman is a talented fighter, but said he has already had his opportunities and chose not to take them. He pointed out that fighters constantly deal with injuries, including back pain, arm pain, and leg pain, yet they still show up to compete. In Ilia's view, Arman made a decision that cost him the trust of the promotion, and he believes Arman knows exactly why he made that choice. Ilia then brought up the weigh-in incident ahead of Arman's fight with Dan Hooker, where Arman headbutted his opponent during the face-off. Speaking from a promoter's perspective, Ilia explained that when the UFC invests heavily in a fighter, puts them on a big card, and gives them a major opportunity, it becomes difficult to trust them again if they walk away or cause unnecessary controversy. He said headbutting an opponent shows poor judgment and a lack of appreciation for the support the UFC is giving. Ilia finished by making a blunt claim, saying the UFC has already made their stance clear, and according to him, they essentially told Arman to go handle his own situation. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Arman did not take long to respond to the comments made by Ilia, and his reaction only added more fuel to the fire. Shortly after Ilia's interview began circulating, Arman took to X to fire back with a sharp and personal message. He called out Ilia for talking about taking time away from fighting to deal with family issues, while at the same time doing interview after interview. According to Arman, that contradiction made Ilia's criticism hard to take seriously. Arman went even further in his post, openly mocking Ilia and calling him a joke, showing that he clearly felt disrespected by the remarks. The response made it clear that Arman was not going to stay silent or let the comments slide. Instead, he chose to hit back publicly and directly. With both fighters now trading insults in interviews and on social media, the tension between them continues to rise. If Arman and Ilia ever do end up facing each other inside the cage, there will be far more than just rankings and titles on the line. Moving on to another news, Ilia also had plenty to say about Islam Makhachev during the same interview, and his comments were just as fiery. When asked about the possibility of facing Islam, Ilia made it clear that this is a fight everyone wants to see. He claimed that for some reason Islam has not accepted the matchup, yet continues to talk and criticize from a distance. According to Ilia, it is easy to judge someone from thousands of kilometers away, but things change once they are locked inside the octagon together. Ilia warned that Islam would quickly realize he is not facing the same type of opponents he has dealt with in the past. He specifically said that he is not JDM, not Dan Hooker, and not any of the other fighters Islam has shared the cage with. Ilia described himself as something very different and promised that once he lands his right hand, Islam would be heading into a very long sleep. The message was direct, confident, and meant to send a statement to the entire lightweight division. Ilia did not stop there, as he also turned his attention toward Islam's longtime friend and teammate, Khabib. Ilia described that camp as cocky and arrogant, and said he would love nothing more than to submit Islam in front of Khabib. He even went as far as saying that if Khabib wanted to step in afterward, he would deal with him as well. While Khabib's fighting days are clearly over, the comments added another layer of controversy to an already heated situation. The remarks quickly drew a response from Ali Abdelaziz, who reacted on X. Ali said he was confused, explaining that people have been giving Ilia space and respect to deal with his family problems, which he believes is fair. However, he questioned why Ilia is now coming out and taking shots at Khabib, Islam, and Arman when he is not even booked to fight. Ali suggested that maybe Ilia should not be given a pass anymore if he continues to stir things up without stepping back into competition. Moving on to another news, Carlos Prates has shared his thoughts on what could be next following his latest win, and he already has two big names in mind. After coming off an impressive victory over Leon Edwards, Prates was asked where that performance places him in the welterweight picture and how he sees his path forward in the division. Prates made it clear that his ultimate goal is to fight for the title. However, he also acknowledged that the title scene is likely tied up for now, with Kamaru expected to be involved in the next championship bout. Because of that, Prates said he is realistic about the situation and focused on taking the right fight to move closer to gold. When discussing potential opponents, Prates revealed that he is very interested in facing either JDM or Michael Morales next. He explained that both matchups make sense for where he is right now and would be exciting tests against high-level competition. For Prates, those fights represent the kind of challenge that can firmly establish him as a true contender at welterweight. In other news, Real American Freestyle has officially announced a major matchup for its January 10th card. Nickal is set to face Yael Romero for the promotion's light heavyweight title. The announcement comes shortly after Romero defeated Patrick Downey earlier this month to claim the inaugural championship, setting the stage for a highly anticipated clash between two elite wrestlers. Moving on to another news, Joaquin Buckley has responded publicly to comments made by Shavkat Rakhmonov, and the situation between the two fighters is clearly heating up. Recently, there was a noticeable back and forth on Instagram involving Buckley and Rakhmonov, which quickly caught the attention of fans. During that exchange, Shavkat referred to Buckley as Black Boy, a remark that immediately sparked backlash and intensified the tension between them. Following the online exchange, Buckley appeared in an interview with Perry Punch News to address the situation directly. From the start, it was clear that Buckley was not pleased with what was said. He explained that the wording used by Shavkat felt especially disrespectful, not just as trash talk, but on a personal level. Buckley went as far as to say that he would have felt less offended being called a racial slur than being referred to as a boy, emphasizing that he is a grown man and deserves to be addressed as such. Buckley pointed out that if Shavkat wanted to talk trash, there were plenty of other ways to do it without crossing that line. He explained that being called a black man in a threatening context would have at least acknowledged his maturity, but being labeled a black boy felt intentionally demeaning. He also referenced another post from Shavkat where he was called a kid, which only added to the frustration. What made the comments even more confusing, according to Buckley, is the fact that both fighters are the same age. They were both born in 1994, which made the attempt to portray Buckley as younger or less mature seem forced and unnecessary. Buckley made it clear that he understands disrespect is part of the fight game, and he can handle verbal shots. However, he stressed that if Shavkat is going to talk that way, he needs to back it up by actually taking the fight. Moving on to another news, Andrei Arlovski has released a statement following a heated altercation that put him in the headlines over the weekend. The legendary heavyweight was involved in a backstage brawl with YouTuber Jack Doherty and members of his crew, and footage of the incident quickly went viral. The confrontation took place at the Anthony Joshua vs. Jake Paul event in Miami, where cameras caught Arlovski throwing hands with Doherty's entourage, including a large bodyguard. Shortly after the footage began circulating online, the 46-year-old former UFC heavyweight champion shared his side of the story in a statement posted on Instagram. Arlovski was clear from the start that he did not believe he assaulted anyone. He said he simply stopped a threat, explaining that he felt he, his wife, his child, and a friend who was with them were being threatened. According to Arlovski, he did exactly what any man is supposed to do in that situation and made sure the threat was neutralized. Arlovski repeated that he did not beat anyone up, stressing that his actions were purely defensive. He suggested the group may have been looking for viral content, believing he would be an easy target for YouTube clicks. He added that perhaps they thought he was an easy mark because of his age, or because it was several people, including a bodyguard, against him. Following the written statement, Arlovski also posted several videos responding to comments from fans. In one of those videos, he said he would be more than willing to fight the bodyguard in a ring, especially after taking what he described as cheap shots to the back of his head. He then reflected more seriously on the situation, pointing out how dangerous it could have been if the same behavior was directed at someone without fighting experience. Arlovski said that people like that could seriously injure or even kill someone, calling the entire situation completely unacceptable. Arlovski also took a sharp jab at Doherty, sarcastically praising his ability to run away and hide behind his bodyguard during the incident. He described it as a successful escape and made it clear he was unimpressed. On the other side, Doherty denied being responsible for escalating the situation. In posts shared on X, he claimed he was simply walking by when Arlovski tried to kick him for no reason. He insisted he did not say or do anything, adding that he would always be painted as the villain regardless. Veteran coach Dean Thomas weighed in on the incident during an appearance on Submission Radio. He said the group involved was extremely lucky, explaining that either they knew exactly who Arlovski was and targeted him, or they had no idea and should be ashamed for not recognizing one of the greatest heavyweights in combat sports history. He added that ignorance alone would have earned them a beatdown. Away from the drama, Arlovski is coming off a knockout win over reality star Kells at a Misfits boxing event in November, showing he is still very much capable of making headlines inside and outside the ring. Moving on to another news. Carlos Prates has finally broken his silence on the UFC not allowing a proposed grappling match involving Arman. The situation came to light after reports revealed that the UFC stepped in and shut down a potential jiu-jitsu bout between Prates and Arman, which surprised many fans given both fighters' backgrounds. During a recent appearance on the Vector Basin podcast, Prates opened up about what happened and shared his side of the story. He explained that jiu-jitsu has been a major part of his life for a long time, noting that he has trained since he was 16 years old and holds a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Despite that experience, Prates admitted that he does not often rely on his grappling in fights, but believes that when he finally does, a lot of people are going to be surprised. Prates went on to reveal that he was approached about facing Arman in a grappling match scheduled for December 30th. According to him, he immediately accepted the offer and was genuinely excited about the opportunity. The bout was expected to be a pure jiu-jitsu or grappling match and was reportedly planned to take place in Armenia or somewhere in that region. However, despite both sides being willing, Prates said the UFC ultimately stepped in and refused to allow the match to go forward. He explained that the promotion told him no and made it clear they would not permit him to compete in that event. While he admitted the decision was disappointing, Prates also said he understood the situation and chose not to dwell on it. In the end, Prates summed it up calmly, saying he was excited at the time, but accepts that it is out of his control. According to him, it is what it is, and he is simply focused on moving forward. Moving on to another news. UFC 325 has taken a late hit after a fighter officially pulled out of the card due to injury. Lightweight contender Rongzhu has confirmed that he will no longer be competing at UFC 325 next month, where he was scheduled to face Quillan Salkild. The update was first shared over the weekend and quickly spread across social media. Rongzhu explained that the decision came after he suffered a knee injury during training. While the news initially sparked concern among fans, he made it clear that the injury is not as serious as some online speculation suggested. According to Rongzhu, he has seen the messages and comments circulating and wanted to set the record straight. In his statement, Rongzhu said the knee injury is minor, but still significant enough to affect his preparation. He revealed that he is currently undergoing treatment and rehabilitation, and that his doctors have advised him against high-intensity training at this time. With only a limited window before the fight, pushing through the injury would not be a smart or safe decision. Rongzhu added that a few weeks of rest and proper recovery should resolve the issue, but both his medical team and his coaches strongly advised against competing while injured. He admitted that the situation has disrupted his plans and has been extremely frustrating, especially with a fight already booked and momentum on his side. Despite the setback, Rongzhu remained realistic about the situation. He acknowledged that injuries are simply part of the sport and something fighters cannot always control. For now, his focus is on recovery and getting healthy, with the goal of returning stronger once he is cleared to train and compete again. Moving on to another news. It now looks increasingly unlikely that a rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev will be happening anytime soon. Over the past few weeks, there has been growing talk about Alex potentially moving up to heavyweight, largely fueled by his own public calls for a fight with John Jones. Those comments alone suggested his focus might be shifting away from the light heavyweight division. Alex reclaimed the UFC light heavyweight title back in October, avenging his earlier loss to Ankalaev with a quick and decisive finish of the Dagestani contender. With both fighters now holding one win over the other, speculation naturally picked up around the idea of a trilogy fight. However, recent comments from Ankalaev's manager seem to pour cold water on that idea. According to Ankalaev's manager, they are not expecting the third fight with Alex to be next. He explained that while the rivalry is currently tied at 1 win apiece, it appears Alex does not have much interest in giving Ankalaev another immediate title opportunity. Even so, the manager said their team is confident they will eventually get back to that position. The plan, as outlined, would be for Ankalaev to take another high-level fight before pushing for another title shot. One name that was specifically mentioned was Jiří Procházka, who is coming off a recent win. The manager suggested that a victory over someone like Jiří would be the exact step needed to secure the next championship opportunity. He added that while they will continue to push for the trilogy, they understand Alex's current mindset. With Alex openly calling for a heavyweight matchup against John Jones, the lack of urgency for a third Ankalaev fight does not come as a major surprise. There has also been speculation that the UFC could look at booking Alex against Carlos Ulberg next at 205. Ulberg is riding a 9-fight win streak and most recently scored a brutal knockout over Dominic Reyes, making him a strong contender in the division. Another possible scenario could involve Jiří Procházka again, if the UFC decides there is a need for an interim title fight, depending on how the division shakes out. Speaking of Alex potentially fighting at heavyweight, Walter Walker recently gave a humorous take on how he thinks matchups against some top heavyweights would go. When asked how a fight with Cyril Gane might play out, Walker joked that Gane would finish him in the first round. He said Waldo Cortez would also knock him out. And when Alex Pereira's name was brought up, Walker laughed and said Alex would knock him out in 2 minutes. He ended by saying Sergey Pavlovich would likely finish him in the first round as well. While clearly tongue-in-cheek, the comments highlight just how dangerous Alex is viewed across multiple weight classes.